What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to install macOS Mojave.
Why?
On a Windows PC.
Why are you doing that?
This one here.
Okay.
This one here. Alright. So that one has a video card, 580, a Core i7 9700K, and 32 gigs of RAM. Now we are having too many problems. The reason for that is because I have this MacBook and I cannot edit any video in 4K right now. This is 2016 MacBook Pro Max out, but I need something powerful than this and something that I can actually replace parts like video card, memory, CPU, anything I want. But so far I spent already like 6 hours trying to make this macOS Mojave working, and I have no luck. I will keep trying, but I'm almost ready to sell this machine and buy a new MacBook Pro. Alright, finally I did it. Finally I finished the Hackintosh 2019 with the Core i7 9700K CPU. This is an overclock machine, and we're going to be showing the performance is so crazy. The performance I get here right now with the Geekbench, it was even better than the iMac 2019, the Core i9 9900K, which was actually the one that I bought like a month ago and just returned it. Why I returned my iMac 2019? I have to say the monitor on those iMacs are amazing. There's nothing compared on the market right now. You can buy, of course, the LG Ultra Thin monitor on Apple, but you know, they need to spend $1,200 and you have better options right now like LG 27K, 27-inch 4K IPS and HDR monitors like this one here that you can buy right now for you can buy this monitor for $429 or $368 on Amazon. And the good quality, it has an amazing quality picture here. It's not gonna be like an iMac, but it's something similar to it. So why I returned my iMac? The first thing I returned it was because the model and the design of the iMac is too old. We're talking about an iMac from 2009 and they have not changed, Apple have not changed the design of this computer. And I was skeptical that maybe next year they want to create a new design, they want to create a new iMac, and I already bought this one where I spent $3,000 for the 8 GB. Of course I made the upgrade up to 100, up to 32 gigs, and that was $179 on top of the $3,000 price tag. This machine here, so that's one of the main reasons, number one. Number two is that I want to upgrade my computer when I need some more power. So for example, right now I have an i7, and if in future I need the i9, I just need to remove my CPU and put the new CPU on it, like i9 9900K. That's something that you cannot do on the iMac. The third reason is that I actually want to overclock my computer. So for example, this computer here, when I run the test, the performance was similar to the i9 9900K, but still lower compared to the iMac, right? But once I overclocked up to 5 gigs, this thing is a beast, it's a monster. I was getting even better performance, and I will show you numbers right now. And the performance was even better than the iMac 2019. Now, the price on this computer is something crazy. We have i7 9700K, we have 32 gigs of RAM, and the RX 580. I have the RTX 2070 on the bottom because when I'm using Windows, I want to use that video card for better performance in terms of gaming, right? I have a Gigabyte G750H. It's a 750 watt power supply, which is enough for this 2-part video card. I have SSD 500 gigs here. I have 129 gigs. This one is for the one I use for Ubuntu, and then my files here, and you can see I can still upgrading and adding new drive and everything. That's something that you cannot do on the regular iMac. I have a CPU water cooled here because of course I want to do the overclocking at 5.0 gigahertz on this CPU, and you will see the performance is shocking, I'm telling you right now. Cheapest case I could find on the market. This case you can buy it for $40, and at the end the total price of the machine will be around $1,400. That's with the monitor included. Another good point here on this machine is that, as you remember, a normal iMac you need to have a boot camp in order to have Windows on it. But here you can have different hard drives and you can install Windows, Ubuntu, and Hackintosh or macOS, whatever. And on this machine I have 3 operating systems I can switch every time I'm using, depending on the kind of job that I'm doing. Okay, I think it's enough talk for today. Let's jump to the benchmark and see the performance of this machine. So we go inside. Of course, you're gonna have we can change that later. We can make just the Apple logo loading stuff, but
That's usually what happened on the back end of the computer. Every time you see the Apple logo, those things what actually is happening. So I mean, it's not a big deal, you can change that. You see how fast this machine boot, and I will show you inside my software everything that I have installed in here. So far it's working perfectly. Right now it's working, my iMessage is working, all features are working, iCloud, App Store, everything is working. I have set up this machine already for my main working machine. Before I had a MacBook Pro 2016, but it's not so powerful right now to make the 4K videos. That's why I choose this computer to be my main editing machine right now, because I like to use Final Cut. I want to jump to a different software in order to use the RTX video card, but for now just keep with macOS. So right here, let me show you. So Google, I mean, internet is working pretty fast. I have 1 gig of internet right here. I'm at the home, unlimited data. This is really fast. If you go to About This Mac, here you can see we have the model is this 27-inch 2019. It's a Core i9, but it's actually Core i7 3.6. Of course, this CPU is overclocked, 32 gigs of RAM, and the Radeon RX 580. I already tried the 15700 XT, and there is no driver support yet at this moment, at least. That's why I'm using, I switched the video card, and I'm using the 580, 8 GB. I think is enough for video editing. And the good thing with this machine is you can still add in even more GPUs, because you know the new Mac Pros, they are gonna actually take advantage of how many video cards you have. So in this machine, you just can have you can add 1 more video card, and that will be 2 580 will for sure will help you on the rendering side of the video editing on any 3D modeling software. Okay, so let's close all the applications first, and I have to say everything works just right out of the box. And since you have AMD support, there is nothing to do in terms of video card side. And then we're gonna roll the CPU. So you can see here is i7 9700K, right? Okay, so we're gonna run this test. Okay, we're gonna be running this test. And on the same time, we're gonna be opening the Intel Power Gadget, so you can see the performance and the water consumption right here. So you can see frequency right now. Frequency jumps depend on this test is not stable. Like for example, Cinebench, it will keep the clock speed on the CPU all the time to the highest, but here it's just jumping, and the CPU depends on the kind of test that he's doing right now. Temperature on the CPU vary depending on what he's doing right now. So if you are not doing nothing in idle, the CPU will be running at 32, 34 Celsius, which in a normal iMac before that I had it, it's crazy insane. It was 56 degrees Celsius with idle, and we were doing something, it was 97, and you got to keep in mind that the clock speed was 4.2, maybe 3.8, but no more than that. Because of the cooling system that the iMac has, it's impossible to keep cool all those CPU and the GPU side. So that's what you were doing a test with the CPU. So when you were doing a test with the CPU and GPU at the same time, the performance drops a lot, because you have to thermal throttling at the moment, and CPU was underclocked all the time. Alright, so we have an S-core of 6548 for the single core, and 34,868 for multi-core. This is for sure is the iMac we're using, is a Hackintosh i7 9700K, 8-core processor, you know, all the same things. So now we're gonna compare with the normal with the iMac 2019. So let's look for the benchmarks that we got here, and benchmark charts, Mac benchmarks, and there we go. There's the one. So as you can see, the normal iMac 2019 with the 9900K is giving you on the single core 6262, and our computer is giving us 65. That's huge. I mean, and we're talking about a lower CPU. This is just a Core i7 9700K compared with the i9 9900K, so it's a big difference right here. And that's on the single core, but most impressive was the multi-core. I was thinking because of the i9 9900K has 16 cores, the performance should be better, right? But it's not. Actually, it was 34,000, and on our computer was 34,000. The Hackintosh and on the iMac was 33,000. So we're getting 1,000 more just on the multi-core. So overall performance, or Hackintosh performs better than the iMac 2019. Now we're gonna be running this Cinebench test, and this test is a 3D rendering test. This is the latest one for our the release 20, and this actually is gonna take the clock speed of the CPU to the highest level, but it's gonna keep it all the time to 5 gigahertz. So let's try to run it. I did already, as you can see here, it's 9700K, but let's see if we can get a better performance this time. So we're gonna be running that, and at the same time we're gonna be opening the Intel, and as you can see now, temperature will be crazy right now because it's 5 gigahertz, and I think something wrong with that CPU cooler. Maybe I need to replace, or maybe not, maybe that's how the CPU is working. But since Apple is allowing these CPUs to get so hot, it's gonna be running at 5 gigahertz, as you can see right here, with no problems. It's only 5 gigahertz stable all the time. Temperature is 97, 98, same temperature that you get on the iMac, but here you get much better performance. The power consumption of the CPU is 185 right now, which is insane, but it's that's important in order to keep the CPU at 5 gigahertz all the time. So of course we're not getting more than 100. It will be around 99. Maybe I need to regulate the fans, and that would help, but for now it's just a test, right? So you got it, 4.93. It drops a little bit, but it's still over 5 gigahertz on performance. So what we're gonna be noticing is when the test finish, you'll see how the temperature drops on this CPU at the moment because it's water cooling. Test is almost finished, and there we go. So we come from 95 automatically. We went down to 45 degrees Celsius. That's really amazing, right? And we get the overall performance right now is 3,987. At one time I got 4,000, but it's almost, you know, it's dependent. Sometimes you get better performance, sometimes you get less, but overall performance is the same. So you can see here we're still 44, but the good thing with this is that you can be running a CPU test and doing another task for the GPU, and since they don't share the same cooling system, they're gonna keep cool, and you can do all the tasks at the highest performance. Not like on the iMac when you lose performance because they are all connected to the same pipe, heat sink, and it's gonna you're gonna drop in performance, that's for sure. Okay, that's Cinebench. I'm not gonna say that. And now we're gonna be running a different test. So this test here is heaven, and I have to say on this test on my iMac is supposed to have, I had on this test, I was setting the same settings, it was highest settings, it was tessellation extreme, and anti-aliasing was at the maximum, and was running at 1080p. That was the resolution I was running on the iMac, and this test was running at maybe 20, 24, I think less than that on the iMac. But here you will see what will be the performance running this test, because of course it's a full size 580 8GB. It's not like on the iMac you have a mobile version of the 580 Pro X, but actually this video card is much better. As you can see here on the corner, we have FPS, and we have 32 frames per second, 32, 34 frames per second. This monitor is, I'll have to say, it's an LG 27-inch 4K monitor, IPS HDR, and also you have the FreeSync on this monitor, which you can enable with the video card. That's another thing that you won't have on the normal monitor on the iMac that is integrated, because it's too old and they don't have that feature. So it's something that you have here on the Hackintosh side. And as you can notice right now, it's no louder. I'm talking about, we are running a test with the GPUs running. They only have in benchmark. CPU is running too, because of course it's gaming, and you hear it, and it's not like in the iMac. The iMac is crazy loud compared with this computer right now here. Okay, now we're gonna be talking about price, how much we spent to build this computer, and we're gonna start with the CPU. CPU is an i7 9700K. You can buy. I bought this one at Best Buy for $368. The motherboard is an Asus Prime C370, and this one I pay $139 on Amazon. For the CPU cooler I paid $60. SSD, I was using this SSD, the Samsung A50 Evo, and this one is, I think, is one of the best SSD on the market. Right now the 500 gig you can buy it for $75. What else? The video card is the most important part, of course, of this build, I have to say, and I didn't spend too much money on this card because I already own them, and I actually set them on Amazon and in my website. But this video card, I'm selling it for $150, so I will keep it the same price. So $150 for this card. The hard drive I already had them. You don't need to have that. If you want to add that, of course, it's gonna cost you more money. But we're gonna keep all that. The case I bought the cheapest one, Thermaltake, you can buy on Amazon. And this case I bought it for $45. Power supply is a Gigabyte G750H. It's a 750 watts power supply, more than enough if you want to run even 2 video cards. And I paid for this power supply around $60. I think pretty much that's it for the computer right now. No motor, no keyboard, no mouse. So we're gonna add that too. The monitor that I'm using here is an LG 27-inch 4K monitor, and this monitor looks amazing. The picture quality is great, but the good thing I like is it's like an ultra thin monitor, like from Apple. You won't get the same feel, but it's something very similar that you cannot find on other monitors. I tried already the Dell, and when you change you know, the resolution of the monitor on the different monitors, they give you resolution like 1080p, 4K, all the things. Here it works like a normal iMac. You go to scale and you change the letters. You change like if you have an Apple monitor. So the picture quality is really good, really crisp. I really recommend this monitor for everyone. For the monitor I paid $429. So $429 for the monitor, and now we need to add a keyboard and mouse. Mouse, I'm using the Razer. This Razer mouse is, I tried like 4 of them. I didn't make a video about it, but I tried almost all the wireless mouse that are online right now, and I keep with this one because it feels so good, and the quality, I mean, and the reception that you on the computer, it will so fast. It's really good even for gaming. This is one of the best mouse and comfortable mouse to work with for a long run. And for this one I pay $80, so $80 on that. And the keyboard, which I think is one of the most important part of the computer. For the keyboard, I'm using the Logitech Craft. It's one of the best keyboards on the market. Very good quality build. What we're talking about here is everything aluminum, and the feel, all the touch of the keys are really good. They have this round circle here. It feels really good, really professional. I have the backlight, which is something I really need at night. And you have the Craft wheel here. You can do a lot of things with this. The cool feature it has is a USB-C here. So you can just plug into the computer, it works, it charges, and that's it. This is sick, and it's pretty amazing keyboard that you can find right now. It's expensive and not cheap, but compared with the Apple keyboard that you need to pay $47, something like that. I think the black edition you need to pay even more. This one you have to pay $189. But I have to say the quality on this keyboard I feel is much better than on the Apple side that you have. And of course you can connect to your Windows PC and it will work perfectly, because as you can see here, you have the Alt and Option like a Mac, and you also have the feature like if you are on Windows. You can do all the feature here, like you know, taking your apps out and select them, launch the camera, the calculator, all the things are integrated on this keyboard. And the feel and it looks amazing, and then you can be typing for hours with this keyboard. Okay, too much to talk about the keyboard. So for that keyboard I paid $189. We're gonna add that $189. So the total of this computer was $1,595, and it's a gaming computer that you can use for gaming on Windows if you want. That's what I do. And it can be your editing machine and your work machine if you like to work with Apple products. If you like to work with macOS, that's what I like. I like to work with macOS. I like to do my deep learning stuff and all the stuff programming on the Linux side, and the Windows I just use it for gaming. And that's pretty much what it is. But you can see here you save a lot of money, and the good thing with this is that you have the flexibility to change parts and upgrade whatever you need. And having the monitor separate give you the ability to have FreeSync and the HDR you don't have on the iMac. As IPS panel, looks good, and you can even add more monitors or add more video cards depending on your workflow. So those are the pros with this computer. Now we're gonna be talking now about the cons. And the cons of this computer is that if you don't know what you're doing, it gets frustrating. I was working with this machine almost for a day, more than that, and having a lot of problems, you know, trying to install the macOS, everything. But once everything is working, it's worth it. It's worth it, and it will keep stable. Before in the past it was so difficult to make it Hackintosh, but right now it's not the case, and you can do it pretty simple if you want to do that. If you want to deal with that because you evaluate the time, it will be better just to buy a new iMac, and that's it. And with the iMac, of course, you can always upgrade to a latest version. They say the new one coming up, Catalina. You can do that with no problems. With this one, you need to wait, see what the forums, what people are saying on the forums, and then do the upgrade. That's one thing on the side. You don't have Apple Care, of course, on this computer, but who cares? The parts on inside, you just need to replace it, and that's it. Okay, that's it for the video today. Let me know what you think about my Hackintosh, what we can improve. If you like something, if you want, leave the comment below. Please give me a like, that will really help the channel. Subscribe, let your friends know about it. All the social media will be on the bottom, so you really want to be in touch with us. Also, we have the Discord channel. You want to join us for this kind of build that we do there. And do not forget that we're gonna be doing giveaways every month. You need to subscribe to the channel, comment, and then look at our social media. You may have a chance to win any computer part. Like for example, the new RTX 2070 Super that we just received it, and we're gonna give it away next month. But first, you need to hit that like button and share this video so we can make these channels bigger. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.